Are you frustrated by the pace of living in the 21st century? Do you wish we could all go back to a simpler time without so much technology, social media, and pressures of our society? Join us for the Brigadoon Experience, where we learn some of the simpler crafts of yesterday while utilizing 21st century tools. We will explore the very most basic skills, crafts, organic gardening, music, and everyday household tips that maybe even our ancestors used. We are Stephanie and Steve Everett, and we want to invite you to share in our creative journey through the Brigadoon Experience. Hey everyone, great to see you again. Welcome back for more Just Beginning Guitar instruction. Today we're going to go on to learning some very basic chord patterns. Now, when you're playing a chord, you're playing multiple notes on the guitar. Maybe you'd like to learn how to accompany yourself with a song that you found on the internet, or just anything like that. Or maybe you're going to write some music as well. So we're going to get started with some very basic chords. That's what we're going to be strumming. If you remember last week, we practiced strumming, down strumming, and down up strumming. So we're going to jump off from that point, and I'm going to teach you some very basic chords. And this is the next lesson. And we're going to start off. One of the things we haven't talked yet about is the fret, and how do we put our fingers down on the fretboard. Now, this is something that it's great that it has frets, but there's a couple basics to remember. This is a lot easier than learning the violin or the cello or the bass because it actually has markings where your fingers go. And what the actual fret does is it stops that string and makes it shorter. It makes it the distance of the fret shorter of a string, and you always get the same note, no matter where you put your finger in between that fret. The one thing you want to make sure is that you don't put your fingers ever directly on a fret. Now that, I guess that's when I first started learning, I thought, oh, you put your fingers right on the fret, but that's not how it works. You want to put your fingers behind the fret. So when I say put your finger on fret 1, you're actually going to go a little bit behind that first fret. And here are the frets: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For our purposes, we're not going to go any higher than that today, but I just sort of wanted to show you where they are. If most guitars also have some really cool markings on the side of your neck, and they sometimes have a dot on fret 3, fret 5, fret 7, fret 9, and fret 12. So you can check out and see if your guitar might have a dot too. Sometimes a really great thing. If you're trying not to watch your fingers too closely, you can look down and, you think, oh, I'm on fret 3 or I'm on fret 5 or something. So when we do put fingers down, our fingers also have numbers. So it's a little bit different. If you've learned piano, your thumb is usually 1. In guitar, your pointer is 1. So it's pointer's 1, middle is 2, ring is 3, and pinky's 4. So when I talk about the different fingers, your first finger is super important that you remember that's your pointer finger. So we're going to learn some really simple chords. We're going to learn a starter C chord and a starter G7 chord. And the reason they're great is because they only take one finger, which is making them really easy. So we're going to look for our starter C chord. We're going to put our first finger, pointer finger, on the first fret on the second string up. So that's the B string, and that turns that into a note C. And then we're only going to be playing the bottom 3 strings. So right now, I want you to put your first finger on the second string on the first fret. You might want to, if you want to look at mine, that's what it looks like, okay? And we're just going to be playing the bottom 3 strings with a down strum. It's going to sound like this. Want to get set, get yourself all set to go and join me this time. First finger, second string, first fret, and we'll down strum. Ready? Together and. Great, and you can always go back and practice that a little bit more. Now, C's great cousin is known as G7. They're very close relatives. And you want to put your first finger for a G7 chord, starting chord, you want to just put your first finger on the first string and on the first fret. So make sure it's within that first fret, make sure it's not on top of the first fret, but right behind it. And again, we're gonna play the bottom 3 strings, okay? It's gonna sound like this. Pretty cool? Okay, get ready, get your first finger on the first string, and we're only playing the bottom 3 strings. So you'll have one finger down, and here we go. Ready, together, and. Awesome job. Okay, so let's do this. Let's find our C starting chord, which is first finger on the second string, and we're going to play 8 of those. I'm going to give 4 counts to switch, and you're going to play 8 of the G7. Let's try that together. Ready? And switch to G7, first finger, first string, first fret. Back to C, first finger, second string, and. G7 switch, first finger goes to first string. Great job. I would really encourage you to practice those a couple of times. So maybe rewind the video and practice those. Get used to going back and forth between C and G7 and their starter chords. I'm going to give you one more fun starter chord where you get to play all of the strings, which I think is very cool and sounds awesome. Now this is a little bit more difficult, and I'll try to get a really good picture of my fingers up close to add on to this, so you can really see where my fingers are for this. So for this one, it's a little more tricky. You're going to start out with your second finger, so it's my middle finger, and it's going to go to the 5th string and the 2nd fret. So my second finger is on the 5th string, 2nd fret. So it looks a lot different than the first finger did down in 1st and 2nd fret, 1st and 2nd strings. And then my third finger next door to it is going to go in the very same fret, but on the 4th string. So if you look here at mine, you can kind of see it. They're on the 2nd fret, 2 is on 5th string, and 3 is on the 4th string. So they're going to be sitting in the same fret, if you notice there. They're right between fret 1 and 2, really, really tight together. And this chord is an E minor chord that we're going to play. But the fun thing about it is, with the E minor chord, you get to play all the strings. So we're going to try that together. You have to press down pretty hard to get a really good sound. Here we go. Let's try the E minor chord together. Ready? And. So pretty. It's my favorite chord. Well, great job, guys. You did an awesome job. Feel free to rewind these and practice along with me. And let me know if you have any questions. And our next session, we'll learn how to read a chord chart, which is really helpful. And then once you learn how to do that, you can sort of take off on learning chords. And I have lots of different chords to teach you. So have a great day, and thanks for being here.